And in this short article, I'm going to reveal to you a weird little secret Bible verse from a lost gospel 1600 years ago that has the power to make money appear in your life in the next 21 days. Time magazine covered the lost gospel when it was found in 1925, Newsweek covered it in 2012. Very few know of the life-changing Bible verse inside it and the hidden manifesting power it contains, apart from a small number of elites who have kept it under wraps for centuries. In fact, even though it might sound impossible right now, once you watch this short presentation and read this ancient Bible verse along with me, your mind will be blown away by the money you see flowing into your life. So far, over 17,097 formerly cash-strapped ecstatic men and women have gone from money worries to financially free, driving their dream cars and taking the vacations they always longed for, all thanks to this mystical Bible verse from this lost gospel. You will soon feel like you've suddenly been given the magic key to manifest anything you desire. Margaret Princeton, a 45-year-old mother from Florida, manifested her dream home and attracted so much money she quit her job. And the cherry on top? After going through a nasty divorce and thinking it was too late to find love, her dream man came into her life in the most unexpected way. The more I read this short Bible verse, the more an ancient part of my brain, or anyone's brain, becomes more clear and switched on, and able to manifest our desires at will. Neuroscience has proven it, which you'll see in just a second. I personally promise this ancient Bible verse will work for you. No matter how broke you are, how much in debt, how old you are, or what your education level is, it doesn't matter what religion you are either, or if you bought every manifesting or self-help product on the marketplace and they didn't work. That's okay, because the way this works goes against the thinking behind many of those tired old manifesting methods. You don't need to be religious for this to work. My wife says this ancient Bible verse restored her faith in God. It restored my faith in God when I needed Him most. When I was down in the darkest pit and needed this ancient Bible verse more than anything to rescue me. You won't find this ancient lost Bible verse on YouTube, Amazon, or Google, and it has nothing to do with the law of attraction or any other manifesting technique you've ever tried before. In fact, it flies in the face of most manifesting methods. Just this page being online puts me in great danger from the elites who would rather this video never sees the light of day. But it's a danger I'm willing to accept. It means I don't know how much longer this page will be online, though. So watch it now while there's still time. The next few minutes are going to change the course of your life, forever. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this. Like I say, my name is Benjamin Scott, and I'm someone who wakes up every morning and pinches myself because life feels like a dream these days. The 6-bedroom beachfront home I wake up in. The money in the bank that means I never have to work again. My dream car sitting in the driveway. The serene feeling of security knowing my kids will go to the best private school and college with no loans or debt. It all seems like a dream. But it's real. Without the ancient Bible verse you'll discover today, none of it would have been possible. And it's a far cry from the life I used to lead just a few short years ago. I was always struggling to find money for rent, juggling bills and overdue payments like a circus act because money was so tight. Lying awake at night with my mind racing because I was not sure where the next penny was coming from. All that changed when a strange but powerful lost Bible verse from an ancient gospel cleared away what was blocking abundance in my life, turning my life around so fast that it made my head spin. My humiliating story proves you can rewrite your story into one of unlimited abundance. I can't believe you went to film school for 3 years to come up with 20 minutes of boring drivel like that. Those were the words that came bellowing out from my boss Steve's mouth on a wet Monday morning while he was looking at my latest short documentary. I was a struggling small documentary maker in a struggling small production company, and this was the latest review from my boss. Steve, he didn't pull his punches. I'd made a documentary on an old church in the local area, and he was not impressed. Any more work like this and you're fired. He screamed at me, I need to see something better, or you're finished. That was the last thing I needed to hear. I was already struggling to find enough money to cover bills, enough money to even cover rent. Losing my job could put me on the street. The documentary film career I had dreamed of was not paying the bills. I loved the business, but my ex-wife didn't, that's for sure. She left me after our money struggles and arguments drove a wedge between us. I'd had a string of failed relationships since, and my latest one with my girlfriend Chloe was looking shaky because of my money problems too, and now, the career I loved was hanging by a thread. I said a prayer to God on the drive home that day, praying for help. I know deep down that the only source of true manifestation comes from God, that He is always listening. Just at the moment, a call came through from Father Thompson, who was the contact for my failed documentary. He'd helped me with doing the short documentary about his former church. It was hundreds of years old. And he had a lot of knowledge about it, more than anyone else in the community. He was no longer working as a priest. But everyone still called him Father Thompson. He was like a star in the community and was much loved and revered for his incredible generosity, raising huge donations for local charities. He was a big man, full of life, with a twinkle in his eye. And he even had part of a priest's collar tattooed on his neck. They will never take my priest's collar away from me. He used to laugh. I need something more gripping for my documentary. I said, something that will get people's attention more. My career is hanging in the balance here. There was a pause on the other end of the line. I have just the thing. Father Thompson said, let's talk tomorrow. We met up later that day in the same church we had before. Father Thompson could see I was upset. He asked what was going on, and I told him everything. The failed documentary, the threat of getting fired, the lack of money, the fact I was pushing 53 with very little to show for it, no home to call my own. No money, a few dollars in my bank account. Father Thompson had no judgment in his eyes. Let me ask you a question, Benjamin. Did you know that charities around this church get more in contributions than some of the biggest charities in the state? I shook my head. I didn't know that. People don't question it much, and I like it that way because the truth about why that happens would upset my former bosses. The bishop's back in Rome, and that would be seriously bad news for me. I wasn't quite sure what he meant, but I was intrigued. Father Thompson continued. Let me ask you another question, Benjamin. Have you ever heard of the gospel of truth? No. I haven't. That's new to me. I said, most people haven't, and the church likes to keep it that way. In 1945, an Egyptian farmer near Nag Hammadi discovered a sealed jar containing 13 ancient books. It became known as the Nag Hammadi Library. Inside these books were several lost gospels, including the Gospel of Thomas, Gospel of Philip, and the Gospel of Truth. Scholars identified the Gospel of Truth as a work from the 2nd century. Likely connected to Valentinus, an ancient Gnostic teacher. This was a huge discovery, as it revealed a lost side of early Christianity that focused on inner knowledge, consciousness, and manifestation-like teachings. The findings of this gospel upset the church no end. I should know. I was a young priest in Rome at the time. Many years after the discovery of the Gospel of Truth, the Pope, his bishops, and the rich elites that support them were still not happy about their discovery. The focus in the Gospel of Truth is on inner knowledge, self-reflection, and building a direct connection to God, which was not good news for the billion-dollar church in Rome. As you know, God is the source of all abundance. And a gospel of truth that shows people how to connect with God directly and access abundance themselves would be a massive threat to the church in Rome. For centuries, the church has been the middleman, the people you need to pay money to in order to connect with God. That's why the Vatican Church is worth an estimated $15 billion. If people could connect with God by themselves, where does that leave the church? Not in a good place. Rumor had it when the Gospel of Truth was discovered in 1945, there was a move by the church in Rome to cover it up, to keep the gospel quiet. They tried everything in their power to prevent the gospel from coming to light, even down to a botched attempt to steal it from Nag Hammadi in Egypt. The Gospel of Truth still came out though, and more people learned about it. The original Gospel of Truth manuscripts written in ancient Egyptian Greek language are housed today in the Coptic Museum in Cairo, Egypt. What's not in any museum though is the missing part of the Gospel of Truth. It was rumored in various academic publications that the Gospel of Truth was originally longer and that entire pages and sections were missing from it. Like all rumors, there is usually a grain of truth in them, and this was no exception. The rumor said that one particular missing page from the Gospel of Truth contained a short Bible verse that was particularly powerful at helping people connect with the abundance of God directly. And this rumor makes sense. After all, the church viewed the gospel of truth as heresy that threatened their position of supreme power and wealth, so they understandably wanted the gospel hidden or destroyed. While I was a young priest in Rome, I worked for a time in the Vatican Library and discovered quite by accident one night where one page of this hidden gospel of truth was kept while I was searching for some old manuscripts. After getting access to a private area of the library by accident one night, my curiosity got the better of me. I was fascinated by old manuscripts and wanted to explore this forbidden area of the library. I found a strange pile of manuscripts made from very old parchment in this secure area. These pages immediately grabbed my attention. Could it be? Yes. It was. I recognized the one page tucked away in this pile of old manuscripts immediately as part of the Gospel of Truth after seeing how the insignia on the bottom of the page was an exact match to the published version of the Gospel of Truth I had studied. This page contained a missing short Bible verse from the Gospel of Truth that the church felt most threatened by, as they had gone to great lengths to bury it in this obscure part of the library. I did not like the idea of the church keeping this method of connecting to God or the divine to themselves. If this short Bible verse could really help people attract abundance by connecting with God directly, I thought people who needed it most should have access to it. I felt a tight ball of anger building up in my stomach. I came from a poor background myself, from a rough neighborhood, so I knew how hard life can be in these areas and what poor people go through, so I made a copy of the short Bible verse on the page and kept it to myself, determined to share it with others when the time was right. When I was sent back to the USA as a priest to my first parish, I knew the time was right to share the Bible verse from the Gospel of Truth, to see if it worked to help regular people attract wealth and abundance. Like I say, my parish was in a deprived part of town. I first shared the ancient Bible verse with a woman who was long-term unemployed. She was an emotional wreck and struggled to get by. She was not sure what to make of the ancient Bible verse at first, but was willing to read it every night before bed. Nothing happened at first, and she told me she thought I was crazy. Within a month of reading it, though, something miraculous happened. She got a check out of the blue that solved all her money problems. It came from an aunt of hers she barely knew who heard about her predicament. The woman cried tears of joy when she came to visit me at the church. I also shared the Bible verse with a man who was down on his luck after losing his business and income in the last recession. Things were so bad he even considered ending it all. Thank God he didn't. Within 2 weeks of listening to the ancient Bible verse, he was offered a business partnership with someone in his niche that ended up growing into a multi-million-dollar company. He also met his soulmate and got married in church a few months later. Stories like these from this famous ancient Bible verse came flooding in. It got me so curious. I contacted an old friend of mine from college who majored in neuroscience. He went on to do a PhD in advanced neuroscience at MIT. He also studied ancient Greek and Roman as he had a passion for the classics. What he found next blew our minds. He discovered the words in the short Bible verse created certain positive brain changes when people spoke them. He found the words worked on enhancing the function of the default mode network in the brain. This default mode network of the brain is highly active when you think about your desires or even visualize anything. The neuroscientist had a theory that this default mode network area of the brain moves into a higher level of activity when the short Bible verse was read or spoken, which opens up the mind to create new ideas and see opportunities the person never saw before. That was the science explanation. Anyway, I already knew that the Bible verse was a powerful medium that affected the mind in positive ways. I knew of a series of Harvard studies showing how sounds of certain words could clear depression and anxiety in people. Certain words and the sounds they made were also used by ancient Egyptians in their mind-healing ceremonies known as Heka, where they would use their minds to alter reality. I knew as well that God is the ultimate source of manifestation, and connection with God is a powerful force in one's life. That was the message of the Gospel of Truth. And the key to attracting this abundance was in the missing short Bible verse in the Gospel, which the church had tried so hard to hide. It wasn't long before stories of the people I was helping with the Bible verse from the Gospel of Truth got back to my bosses, the heads of the church in Rome. I got a strongly worded letter from the Vatican telling me to stop sharing my message, to stop letting people know about this little lost Bible verse from the Gospel of Truth. I refused to stop helping people, though, which led to me being excommunicated or fired as a priest. That's when things got more serious. I received physical threats to my life and woke up one day to find my car burning outside. I received various anonymous threatening letters. Since then, I have had to be way more careful, but all the time determined to get the word out about this missing Bible verse from the Gospel of Truth. I put this tattoo of part of a priest's collar on my neck because it symbolizes my struggle. I am not officially part of the church anymore, but my message about this short Bible verse from the Gospel of Truth spreads the word about attracting abundance from God directly. It empowers people to manifest their own abundant realities. I knew when I first met you that you could help me. Father Thompson handed me an envelope with a memory stick inside it. This short Bible verse will help anyone manifest the life of their dreams. Go forth and use this to improve your life. Share with those who need it most. It was a lot to take in, but I had nothing to lose, so I was going to give it a try. Could it work? Only time will tell, I thought to myself. I went home that evening and listened. It was relaxing, like slipping into a deep sleep. I wasn't sure what to think at first, but the more I listened, the more positive energy I started to experience inside. As the days went on and I listened more and more, I realized I had never felt so good in my whole life, but the outside world had yet to catch up with this good feeling. My girlfriend Chloe stood over me on a Monday morning with a letter with a red top on it shaking in her hand. It was a demand notice from the IRS. And those guys don't mess around. It was for an unpaid tax I had completely forgotten about. My heart started pounding with fear. I had a picture in my head of being led away in handcuffs to a prison cell because I owed these guys money. 2 days later, though, I got the kind of news I wasn't used to. Positive news, for a change, from a lawyer about my Uncle Mike. Mike and I were close, and he had passed the previous year. He always had a gambling problem. And I have thought in the back of my mind his lawyer would be looking for me as some of his only remaining family to cover an unpaid gambling debt or something. It was quite the opposite, though. It turned out Mike had won some money in the last year before his death and had left us that money in his will, $20,000 to be exact. Now, I know that's not life-changing money for some people, but for us, it meant we could cover that IRS bill and a number of outstanding debts and finally put some money in our rainy day fund. My girlfriend's brother Tom had a business idea for an AI consulting company he wanted to set up. He was struggling to raise the funding himself. I knew nothing about AI but decided we would like to support him anyway. He needed some startup capital. I got a call from him 12 months later that cemented the idea in my mind that I had opened up a direct channel between myself and God to attract abundance. Tom's company was being sold to investors at a massive profit, and I was going to get a large check as one of the company investors. I used the check to set up a small production company of my own, creating small documentary movies, and the business has been thriving ever since. What also seemed very clear to me at this point was that I could not keep this secret to myself any longer. After all, I saw this as a gift from God, a gift that everyone should know about. We shared it with some friends and family at first. Their results were mind-blowing. We shared it with my father. He was a little skeptical at first, but he is a man of God and was fascinated by the story behind this ancient Bible verse. He had been let go by his company after 20 years of service with just 3 months' salary and had struggled to find work ever since. A heavy depression came over him as the years passed, and he said he felt useless to me one night after a few beers. He gave the Bible verse a listen, though, and surprised me with his reaction. His change was internal at first, and he told me one day that he was feeling brighter, smarter, and sharper like he did in his 20s. That took me aback. And so did what happened next. He went into business for himself as a consultant in the same financial services sector as the company that let him go. Last time we talked, he had taken on a number of their key clients and was making more money than ever before. He was grinning from ear to ear. My niece, Carrie, was drowning in college debt and was struggling to find enough money to pay rent some months. She had a dream of being a writer and had been an English major at college. She had sent off her manuscript to a number of different publishers, but all she got back was a stack of rejection letters. When we told her about the ancient Bible verse from the lost Gospel of Truth, she raised her eyebrows in disbelief as she was not religious in the least. I told her she didn't need to be religious. And she was willing to give it a go. Within a month of listening to the ancient Bible verse every night, something amazing happened. She received letters from 3 publishers interested in the manuscript. Last year, she called over to the house. Jumping with joy, she had received a 6-figure advance from one of the publishers for a new book deal. Stories like this blow my mind to this day. And they keep flooding in. We realized it would be a sin to keep this to ourselves and decided we needed to spread the word more about this wealth attraction miracle. We named it the Nag Hammadi Wealth Code. The only sound produced from sacred instructions in the ancient gospel of truth that, when listened to, activates the default mode network in the brain to help you attract money effortlessly. Listen to the Nag Hammadi Wealth Code sound, and let money come to you. Often in the most unexpected ways, all by harnessing the power of the natural abundance that flows from God. That is our birthright. Take a second and think about the ways people try to attract money. Buying lottery tickets, risky stocks or obscure crypto coins they hope will go up in value but rarely do, spending a fortune on a degree or working an extra job, or getting roped into some network marketing scam. The good news is you don't have to do any of these things. You can now join the thousands of other regular people who have gone from cash-strapped to cash-rich using nothing but the hidden power of the Nag Hammadi Wealth Code. Imagine for a second the amazing feeling of being able to support you and your family with ease, while never giving a second thought to spoiling them and buying them whatever they wanted. Imagine being able to retire your parents so they never worry about money ever again. My parents cried tears of joy when I wrote them a retirement check that meant they never had to think about money ever again. Imagine having first-class everything: clothes, travel, cars, houses, delicious Michelin-starred food, never worrying about the cost of anything. Your friends and family will be left scratching their heads, wondering how so much money has shown up for you so quickly. Even though you did not seem to work harder or get a new job, you might choose to share your secret with them. You might keep it to yourself. It's up to you. I never realized the truth about this lost Bible verse and the potential for wealth attraction it contains. I was working as a waitress in a diner in town and surviving mostly on my tips. Then, money came into my life from the most unexpected of places. I thank God every day I found your video and took the risk-free decision to access the Nag Hammadi Wealth Code. As a nurse in a busy emergency ward, I've seen some amazing miracles of people who the doctors thought would not make it, pulling through against all the odds. It sounds funny, but the Nag Hammadi Wealth Code is in the same category as some of the miracles I've seen. I felt the positive energy of it run through my body from the first moment I listened to its sound. It sent the money I needed so badly my way to give me a break from work and move to a more relaxed area of nursing that pays the money I need. God bless you and the work you do. I said a prayer the other day that more and more people will learn about the Nag Hammadi Wealth Code. It's transformed my life from one of struggle and despair as a low-paid admin staff member to owning my power and becoming a light worker and healer. Last week, a private client sent me a check for $15,000 to fly to his house first class and work with him for 2 days. Pinch me because I think I'm dreaming. Using the Nag Hammadi Wealth Code is a simple 3-step process. Nag Hammadi Wealth Code will have activated the default mode network in your brain to seek out and attract wealthy opportunities. I have to warn you, though, there is no telling how long this video will be up and running. The super wealthy church and the elites have kept this secret to themselves for thousands of years. They do not like this secret getting out there. Our office was broken into last week, and some of the hard drives were stolen, and we believe the elites that are connected to the church were behind it. How else are they going to keep a chokehold on their wealth? They cannot afford the regular person to have the power to attract wealth effortlessly. Who will work in their slave wage jobs then? So we cannot guarantee this site will be here if you decide to come back again. Don't miss out on this opportunity to transform your life. While the window is still open, but it won't be open for long. And let's be clear about something. This is not about money for me. I've already used Nag Hammadi Wealth Code to attract all the money I need for myself and my family. I see it as my God-given mission to spread the message about Nag Hammadi Wealth Code. People have told me privately that I should charge $3,000 for this. Those are the same people who used it to amass a personal fortune who never had 2 dimes to rub together before. There are so many of them that it blows my mind, charging that kind of money would not seem right to me, though. I know money is more than likely a problem for you right now, so all I need today is enough to keep the site up and running, so you don't have to invest $3,000, or even 10% of that. All I need is $37 to give you instant access to the Nag Hammadi Wealth Code today. That's just enough to pay some support staff and the fees to keep the site up and running, after you enter your details on the 100% safe and secure page. You will be sent an email with immediate access to the Nag Hammadi Wealth Code, and since this is a digital product, you get to save another $9 on shipping and having to wait around for the parcel to be delivered. And don't worry, your decision is 100% risk-free. Claim instant access to Nag Hammadi Wealth Code today. Listen once a day, and watch as abundance and wealth come flooding into your life. And if, in the unlikely event, you are not happy, simply shoot me an email for a full no-questions refund, so you risk nothing here today. Hit the order button below now for immediate access. These bonuses have a combined value of $279. But they are yours today for free when you get instant access to Nag Hammadi Wealth Code. So let me ask you this. Will you stay stuck where you are at the moment? Stuck on the never-ending spinning hamster wheel of life, getting harder every year as the value of your money goes down while the price of everything goes up? Stuck with a lack of freedom and needing to work for money and answer to people who don't have your best interests at heart most of the time? If you don't take action today, we both know nothing will change, apart from one thing: money problems tend to get worse over time. The alternative is such a no-risk, no-brainer decision. Hit the Order Now button below and secure your future today, for yourself and your family. Make sure money is never a problem ever again, that your friends and family look on in awe at your new success, that you have the freedom to live life on your terms and answer to anyone. We both know you will get the same results unless you try something new. God has a plan for you. Don't ignore it. Hit the Order Now button below and get instant access to the Nag Hammadi Wealth Code. I guarantee you will be happy, or you get all your money back, so there is no downside for you. See you on the other side. I totally get it. I'm sure you have some questions. We've covered a lot of ground. Here are some of the more common questions we get. I'll see you on the other side. ClickBank is the retailer of products on this site. ClickBank is a registered trademark of Click Sales Inc., a Delaware corporation located at 1444 S Entertainment Avenue, Suite 410, Boise, Idaho 83709, USA, and used by permission. ClickBank's role as retailer does not constitute an endorsement, approval, or review of these products or any claim, statement, or opinion used in promotion of these products.